All right, so I'm gonna try to do better with these videos. I'm not very good at editing them or making sure I keep videoing stuff. As you can see, this is a trans mount. This is the 2-wheel drive one, even though this truck is 4-wheel drive. I'll explain that in a minute. There's no difference with it, except this one's 80 bucks and the 4-wheel drive one is 160. No difference except this. So what I'm gonna do is cut this off, grind those wheels down, and the 4-wheel drive one will just be a plate back here. It only moves it back about this far. So when we get the trans in, we'll grind this down, weld a plate in, and 2 gussets on either side. Well, there's that, and I'm gonna show you some more updates. So here's my front diff. I started cleaning it. As you can tell, this half of the case is split. I mean, almost all the way around. Put a new case half on it, completely rebuild this diff and re-gear it. Flip the shock mounts, that one to the back, and weld different mounts on this and have them completely rebuild this rear end. I showed some pictures. I don't have any video. Like I said, I'm horrible about taking videos. But I got the Euro 450 pump in. So this is where it looks really different. The other video showed cleaning this whole front frame horns. Get down here. Everything, all the A-arms, they're just flat black, and those rotors are rusty. Those are brand new rotors, and everything's mounted. Factory locations with the wires ran up. Well, let's talk about this. The main thing you're looking at here. Here's the motor. It's got Gen 4 rods, LS7 lifters, chromoly push rods, trunnion upgrade, 243 heads that have been worked over. It's been completely rebuilt. Every bearing in this new. Got a good cam in it. I'm not gonna say exactly what's done. If you really want to know, I'm sure you can find a post where I've said it, but I'm gonna start being a little bit more secretive with that. I don't know why, just because. But it's a pretty good motor. It should make decent power. If I decide to ever go turbo with it, I'll probably pull it out and have them gap the rings for boost. If I have to change pistons, which they're not factory pistons in it, then I'll do that. But I've also got brand new motor mounts on it. You can see down there is new crank sensor. This is a Gen 3, so 24 tooth. That shouldn't be a problem for what I plan on doing. New water pump. What else have I done under here? Oh, I've just cleaned everything. I mean, it's not perfect, but you can see that's way cleaner than a 230,000 mile truck. And I'm planning on keeping my rock lights. I'm going to change these out to actual bolts to hold it in. And I got the zip ties ran where you can't see them in here. And here's the wire running over. I re-wire loomed, even though this looks dirty. I did re-wire loom the ABS wire for that side. And this clip right here that holds the brake line in that wire actually had another spot. And it runs up. I'm out of zip ties at the moment, but I will do the same thing here. And here's the other wire. They're wired up in here. It's wired up in here. This will be battery box, so you won't see none of this. And it's ran up through the fender back here to the back. And I put wire loom over all of that to make it look better. And however I wire them up will be all tucked back up in there. Rewire loomed that coming out of the cab. This is new wire loom. This is, I mean, everything that's in the truck has been rewire loomed. Like, this is the plug for the front diff. It's been rewire loomed. All of this in here, all up under the fuse panel. And here's the starter wire, the power wire for it. You can see I cleaned that up pretty good. I'm gonna try to use this AC compressor. If it doesn't work, I'll buy a new one, but it's all cleaned up. It was a little rusty, so I threw a coat of flat on that. Redid the power steering box, which it's dirty already. that pitman arm is old. I just haven't bought one yet, but new idler arm and idler arm bracket. I plan on putting the kryptonite inner and outer tie rods. So whenever I do those, I'll do the kryptonite just steering stuff, because the factory suspension is fine on this truck except for steering, because I mean, look at how puny those tie rod ends are on a 4-wheel drive. And those are the same ones on the 2500, which is kind of crazy. But all that, I mean, that's really about all I've done. I guess I'm kind of talking myself down here, because cleaning that frame was a task, and wire looming everything was definitely a task as well. Oh, I got a new water pump on there with gaskets. Over here is the engine harness. I haven't gone through and cleaned every plug yet. Like, that's the little oil sensor, and that's for crank sensor, and trigger wire for the starter, AC plugs. I know all of them because I've done this a few times. Where's it at? I kind of threw this out of the way. Oh, here it is. This is the crank, or the trans wiring. This is the only thing I haven't touched on here, and I haven't finished right there where it goes into the ECU because I don't have any 1-inch. But everything, well, besides like right here, everything besides that, and this is done on the harness. Really don't want to mess with this quite yet. Have another harness, but this is I don't remember what plug this is, but you can see they just twisted them together, and then right under that is they're crimped. So that's junk. What I'll probably do, save myself. I did this. I broke off the neutral because you know how these are glued in, I think, from the factory, and you had to take a heat gun, and I was in a hurry and I broke it. So I've got another harness. I think I'm going to cut that other harness right here, heat shrink all of them, and not have to deal with this junk. I mean, I can rewire this. It's just, it's nasty, and I just don't want to deal with that. I don't remember what these wires are for. They were just taped up under there, so who knows. But also have you can either repin this or buy the adapter for the 4L80. I'm just gonna buy the adapter and then pin one wire. But I mean, that's boring, that's wiring. Y'all don't want to see that. I want this to be a clean truck, and I mean, look well taken care of. I do have a trans 4L80 4-wheel drive. I still have to buy a transfer case. The main two things are the stall converter left to buy and the intake. I want to go with the Trailblazer SS just because it's NA, but I also want to go with the low ram, just looks wise because it looks a whole lot better. And then I forgot to get long tubes for it. I don't want to run factory manifolds. Just give it the best chance with a good flowing intake, good flowing exhaust, big throttle body on it. So I have done the headliner, so I'm going to show y'all the headliner next. I don't really know if y'all can see, but I've recovered the headliner with black felt. It's like not felt, but it's like the same material as factory. I actually have some right here left over. Just because my factory one on this side and here, and that seal's falling down, was peeling, and on that side it was really bad. I don't know if I'm going to do the Starlight. Sorry about the glare. I kind of want to, but this headliner pissed me off a lot, so I'm probably not going to. I'm wanting to keep this simple, and if I want to ever do more, which I probably will, y'all know how that is, then I will. But I'm wanting to get it running and enjoy it, and then if I want to do anything else, I can. But I know the few things I'm not going to budge on is a good intake, good exhaust, and everything being clean. But this looks nice. I don't want you to pop the hood and see something that I have done or I have built that looks like, well, shit. I want it to look nice and be presentable. So, and I'm just not budging on that part. The next thing I'm going to buy for this, besides just little odds and ends, is the torque converter, so we can get the trans in, and then after that I'll get an intake. And I mean, the rest of the stuff is not that much. To do the ICT billet, same people who made this valley cover for the knock sensor delete, and just a factory alternator, factory power. We'll figure it out. It's gonna take a while, but when it's done, it'll be nice.